Okay, hello. I'm making a recording, making a video for the YouTube. I wanted to just do it as a short little live stream, but apparently on YouTube, when you click to start live streaming, you then need to wait 24 hours. Don't know what that's about, but oh well. I don't think this one's gonna really suffer from just being recorded and then uploaded later. And so looking at my channel, I haven't uploaded in forever. I got kind of busy with work, busy with personal life stuff. And I like making videos, but it's also, it can be very time consuming. It's a very tricky balancing thing with how much time you spend on them and what the relative quality is. And I'll say I'm not trying to do YouTube full time. I have a job already, and I'm pretty happy with that job. It's pretty nice. So I like don't, in a way it's free
You're one of our
because
favorite fish in this
YouTube can
galactic
demonetize
sea.
my videos, or I can not get like a ton of views, and that doesn't really. I'm not, more views is nice, but I don't need to pay the bills with this shit. So I can just say and be whatever the fuck I want to be. And because if you don't know, YouTube demonetization is just fucking random. You pay attention to any just kind of big or prominent creator, and they get randomly demonetized over the weirdest shit, and there is no YouTube support. Fish Mommy wants to be allies, maybe.
We hope you take this the right way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. Alright, I could use more Hyperion. So, in order to try to not have just a 20-minute intro, I'm playing Endless Space 2. I like this game. I found out about it because of Sezef's video, which was very entertaining. I like his channel. He made the game look very cool. And I liked and played the Civilization games before. And if anything, you can spend thousands of hours on these games, but I kind of like Endless Space 2 more than Civ 5. Like, so far. I've only got a few games on this, and I've got more time on Civ 5, but I actually kind of like the feel and play of this game. And the game here is mostly just for background, because I'm gonna just keep talking. I'm gonna just try to talk this whole fucking time. But, little intro here, because I'm on turn 150 of this game. I'm playing on an endless size galaxy, which is the biggest size. And I think I picked the galaxy type where it's split into it says it splits into kind of 4 sections or sectors. Don't know exactly what breaks down as those sectors, but it's a big whole fucking game. And currently I'm doing pretty good. I got the second highest score, which isn't how you win, but the only reason Horatio has such a high score is he's got a really expansive empire here in the light blue. And I think the main reason he was able to pull that off is I'm pretty sure the Umbral Choir started over here. And if you don't know this game, the Umbral Choir is a really weird faction that has stealth, and there's this whole hacking system in the game, and the Umbral Choir's expansion is what added that, and they're like really big on hacking, and they do a thing where they kind of exist as like a shadow on top of other factions. So they don't like colonize systems in the normal way. Instead, they'll like put secret hacked agents into other people's systems. But so what that also means is if you have the Umbral Choir as a neighbor, because the map, obviously you can see where people's capitals are, it does the pretty typical thing of giving every faction some chunk of space for themselves. But since the Umbral Choir doesn't really colonize systems, it's like, oh, if you're Horatio, who in general I think really likes to go wide and found a bunch of stuff and get a bunch of food production, which supports the big empire. He's next to Umbral Choir, so he just snatched up a bunch of the shit that they would have otherwise gotten, and that helped him get ahead. And then I'm guessing also the fucking Vaulters
I will listen.
have not done shit this game, and I'm guessing it's because they started next to Carvers, and the Carvers probably just fucked them up. So Horatio also, he started next to Umbral Choir, I think, and then he had his Carver neighbors go to war and fuck up his other neighbor, so they weren't doing shit. Some of this shit here should have at least gotten claimed by like the Vultures at some point. So Horatius got all this shit. And I'm playing Riftborn. I've never played before because I've only done a few games of this type. But I'm finding Riftborn hella fun because they have insane production capabilities, and because you don't really need to give a shit about food with them, I've just got so many lava and desert planets that are just cranking out the fucking industry, which I guess if you've played Civ 5 is like your hammers. So, just having fun, casually playing this, but the purpose of this is not so much to talk about the video game, though I of course will be talking about the video game a bit, because it's here and it's fun. I wanted to talk about political topics, because with my channel, you know, I don't necessarily know what it is. Main thing is it's mostly just a creative outlet of some kind. Like, I don't know, I got feelings, I got thoughts, I got channels and people I like and listen to. But you know, sometimes you don't just want to comment and give up votes and likes on other people's stuff. You want to put some of your own thoughts out there. And that's something I wanted to do with my channel, and I figured I had some unique positions. I've got some thoughts and positions I don't see necessarily get talked about too much. And I think the fact that I have a like nice job, and so I'm not like relying on YouTube, I think that's kind of nice in a way, because it means that I don't have to make my content in a way that's like inherently supposed to be profitable, and it also means I don't necessarily like give a shit if I say something that's a bit out there and isn't super popular. Like, it's not, I don't have some financial incentive where I'm gonna give a hot take and then my like Patreon goes down 10%, and then I'm like, fuck, all right, if only people understood. But then also, my wallet's getting fucked on this, and it's like, do I even want to, because I can understand as a creator that there's certain topics where it's just like the only result of covering, of even touching the subject, is just going to be that people get fucking pissed and it causes problems. But I don't need anything from YouTube. I don't need money. I don't need patrons. So this can just be, if you fucking hate the shit I do, then obviously don't watch it. But just, feels a little freeing in a way. Just makes me want to share my thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong about some things. So right now, with the game, doing a ground battle, because I'm at war with these because I don't know what's up. Sometimes I don't know how well the AI in the game necessarily plays. I have it on like the harder setting. There's 5 or 6 difficulty settings, and I have it not on normal, so I think I'm like a notch up into hard, but then there's like 2 difficulties above that or something. And I also don't have any mods for the game, so I'm sure if there's a mod that like makes the AI play a bit better or play a bit smarter. I mean, sometimes the AI seems to handle their shit pretty well. Like the Empire over here, who I'm actually allies with, he like reached out to me 50 turns ago, and I was like, sure, fuck it, you're on the other side of the place. I don't really want to
We're
fight
playing
you.
our best hand here.
Oh, okay. Damn, girl, you're giving me all sorts of shit. What the fuck is your life like right now? Oh, okay, yeah, you're at war with Horatio. That's probably not fun for you, but it's okay. I'm also at war with Horatio. We can just fish mommy's over here. So she's got the Sophons in front of her, but the Sophons are also in my alliance, which is at war with Horatio. But I don't know. I'm an industrial powerhouse. I got a lot of fleets, and I got a lot of my system. Most of my systems are just, I built all the shit I needed to build in a lot of them. I'm obviously, getting shit on the tech tree, but the industry, when you're playing as the Riftborn, you have so much fucking industry. You can just build shit so fast and easily. So all these places have their shit built out, and I have a big fucking military. Like, I'm at war, but just, I've got multiple, like, tricked out fleets here. So I'm pretty sure I could one-on-one Horatio's fucking military anyway. And just, I also don't have insane gold income. I've got a good amount of gold, because I've got a thing from the laws, where I think this is for being industrial. that just building shit gets me gold. So that's been keeping me steady for not actually having the greatest gold income. It's just all the shit I build gets me gold. But I mean, I can just have any of these places just start cranking out ships if I need to. But at the moment, I've got multiple sizable fleets that are already going out and fucking shit up. So I'm not. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this fleet. This fleet's got 49,000 attack power. And this isn't even my best fleet, because my best fleet is down here, and I finally just got behemoths. I got juggernauts, not behemoths, I got the juggernauts. And as you can see from that juggernauts damage, this fleet has 164,000 fucking damage number stat. So I'm just fucking shit up. And these bird boys are fucked, and I am looking forward to taking some of these nice little systems they have, because fuck them, he didn't play well. That's what I'm thinking. There might be like AI mods that make them play a bit more consistently. I don't know if that's an issue. I know in Civ 5 it's an issue, which is why in Civ 5 I got whatever that like popular mod is that makes the AI less brain dead about certain shit. Anyway, alright, I'm talking about the game. Yeah, this shit's gonna be unfocused. I think I'm gonna do kind of more content a bit like this, because it's just easy. It's one of those tricky things, like, I have video essay ideas, but the trouble with, trouble with video essays is just, it's a lot of time. It's time, it's, writing out the script, editing it. Like, I can do it, but I have trouble fitting that time in. I have a full-time job. I've got other stuff going on in life, and the reason I haven't fucking uploaded shit in like a year is because it's just been like, what am I gonna do? Get 3 hours done out of the 50 hours it takes to make an essay, and then like in 3 months I'll have spent time every week to get one video out. That's why I'm just doing this shit, because I can just fucking do it. This is. There's content, you put it on your other screen and you play a game or do some chores and listen to it. We're going for that vibe. It's not a ContraPoints video. I'm not having production values. My production value is that I have a nice computer. Obviously Electra. I want to capture this system, so I'm gonna guerrilla it, because I also have a fuckload of manpower there. Let's just fight without watching. Okay, so they held on, but that's partly because they drafted. They're having okay, I just beat them. I thought they actually had some guys left still. We're gonna occupy that. We're gonna occupy that, because this little outline on that planet means that's a unique planet. And it's the unique planet of Sahar. And if you don't know this game, I don't know what I would compare it to, but each planets have different types of yields, and they have different focuses, and there's like generic planets where it's just different types of environments. Like, okay, here it's deserts, as you see from the base output. They've got good industry and gold. Here's an ocean. Oceans are a nice world. It's got a lot of stuff, not so much industry, but it's got a lot of the other stuff. But then unique planets always have, look at this thing's got 20 industry, and it's got influence. And you can see in the output modifier that this is otherwise, it's an arid planet, so you can just find an arid planet. But then because this is Sahar and it's a unique planet, it's got 12 more industry, 5 more science, and just a free 4 influence per the population you put on there. So it's like 3 times better than a fucking arid planet would be. So getting unique planets are like usually pretty high value. This is kind of my main industrial powerhouse area, because it's got 5 planets. And one of them is unique, and it's Auriga, which I believe is the setting of the fantasy game, Endless Legend. That one's like a fantasy theme, and I think it's like on this fucking planet. And because of that, this one also has, for being an ice planet, it has a fuckload of gold, and also +7 influence, which I kind of like. I never played the Endless Legend fantasy one, but I'm sure if you've played that game, this is kind of like, oh, cool, neat. Like, I'm getting a bunch of influence for the setting of the previous game being in my control. Yeah, because it's kind of funny to think that, oh wow, that whole game was taking place on this one planet, and now we're in this whole fucking galaxy. Yeah, so trying to do the dual track here. This stuff, it's going to be a bit rough. I hope the production quality isn't too scuffed. I have a decent computer, and I bought a nice webcam for these things, so I hope it's listenable. Fucking roast me in the comments. If the audio quality or sound mix or something sounds like shit, I'm mostly just rolling default settings here, so, I mean, leave a comment if there's, like, an easy technical issue that I could fix that would just make shit better. Not trying to do a fucking crap job. But yeah, so video essays, I mean, those are fun. Or just, I don't even, there's a lot of work that's around the actual just content you're putting out. It's a lot of extra stuff for a video essay. And that's just really hard to fucking do with a full-time job. And with just dealing with other personal shit in life, because I end up where, sometimes just like if I'm a bit stressed and tired and I've got like chores I need to do, for me it's real hard to say, no, fuck the chores. I need to let the people know about how, whatever the fuck topic. I have a lot of fun topic ideas. It's fun to write those down, but let's level this boy up. Here's my main. I've got him on a fleet, so he's doing military shit. I think he probably is mostly just tapped out on anything that would actually even benefit the fleet he's on anymore, so I'm just putting points into other random shit. I guess I think he's on my Senate maybe, so I'll give him that. He might not be, I think someone else is on my fucking Senates. Yeah, I got like 2 Carver heroes who are the not militarist Carver heroes, which I found interesting, but they're industrialists, so that's nice. And then I got this lady running my other northern fleet right now, because Wadiani have some fucking excellent skills for being attached to a fleet instead of a planet. She's got like a massive mobility boost in here. Yeah, +6 movement on fleet. Holy shit, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's probably too much. I'm not sure how well balanced the skill tree necessarily is, because the top skill up here is fucking garbage. And this skill's also half pretty garbage, so I don't know what the fucking balance is supposed to be. That shit's way too good. That shit's also pretty nice, but at least it makes sense that one should be nice. But, I'm sipping a drink here that has alcohol in it, because I'm not doing much actual work today. I'm just gonna play more video games after I finish this whatever the fuck I'm doing, so. Fancy when you drink out of your plastic cups. Yeah, it's the Queen's finger. You always make sure the Queen sees how you feel. I'm American. I don't have queens. We just kill nobility. Anyone who says they're a king or queen should probably just be fucking like shot, because fuck you. Ooh, yeah, wow. Oh wow, just segue politics. Immediately just talk about murdering people. That's a good way to do politics. Just immediately talk about killing people. Fuck. Oh yeah, I captured this piece of shit system from the Carvers, and I can't tell if I regret it or not, because it's fucking depleted, because that's what Carvers do, so this system fucking sucks, but whatever. I'll figure out some shit to build here. While I keep trying to talk about politics. Oh, it's so hard, I'm so bad at it. But, practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Or as they said on Adventure Time, it's the first step to being kind of sort of okay at something, which I think is a good philosophy. So, did the thing I said I wasn't going to do, which is I've just fucking rambled and had like a 20-minute intro. But, this is free content. This is free content. so it doesn't matter. The important thing is I'm having fun. Because, let's see, yeah, I debated having some list of, like, bullet points to get through, but I've just got so much random shit in my mind, and I didn't want to just be going through a list, or it's like, how much time do I spend putting together that list of bullet points for this very casual whatever the fuck video? Like, that's not. I'm trying to do a no effort kind of thing, so that wouldn't have worked. So I'm using all the bridge phrases. There's going to be a lot of so's and likes, and I'm sorry in advance. I'm trying my best. I'm going to say a lot of yeah, no's too at some point, I'm sure. You know, these people, they can just build one of these. How about they just do that for now? I don't care what they do. The carvers aren't fucking retaking this place. Not when my shit is so big and impressive. Fucking them up. Actually, wait, I'm at truce with them because they didn't like how much I was fucking them up. So they wanted to do a truce, and I was like, fine, I need to fight. I need to fight Big Head. If you don't know Horatio,
Your contact with us brings more worry than joy.
He is a very cranial
Horatio, do not trust you.
Yeah. You're a bitch, Horatio. I'm gonna fuck you to death. Also, I guess side thing, I'm playing with a controller because it's having some wrist troubles, and since this is a turn-based game, playing with a controller doesn't really matter. If it's, 10% slower than using a mouse, who really cares? It doesn't really matter. And, oh, you're here? Let's just destroy whatever civilian shit's down there. Ooh. So that's a nice little bit of money. Not much manpower. Let's get the rest of the ships moving. Okay, yeah, political topics. Lots of things on my mind, and wanna share them out on the internet, because the world's fucked up. There's a lot of just weird and bad shit that goes on in the world, and I don't have all the answers, but sometimes you can do your work, you can acquire knowledge, and you can look at a situation and go, there might be some more correct answers or directions than others, and people might be in a very heavy dispute about that, but sometimes you can be on the, you can know shit. You can know shit. I know, politics is complicated. It's extremely complicated. And there's obviously a lot of division and divide about it. So I'm just gonna try to straighten some things out, offer some thoughts and insights. You can, judge them by if they make any sense. Judge them by if you think they'd work. Judge them by if they actually do something for you, if they give you a consideration. Because, oh man, I'm touching on big topics here. It's heart of politics. It's like how zoomed out do you want to be when you're talking about this kind of shit? And how many of Horatio's fucking systems do I want to just attack at once? I didn't actually plan that out. I just want to fucking destroy this guy. Let's get that little sorted. How do I work about that? Alright, you're there for sieges. I got this one equipped with a bunch of stuff just for sieging, so it should go over. And I also got one of my singularities built that is the make shit not work as well kind of singularity. So I'm already fucking up that planet. Now I'm gonna put it on his other fucking planet. Horatio can blow me with his shitty fleet, and now his planet can just have a malice of all those negative things. Those are all minuses. And those are all minuses on things you don't want getting minused. So fucking you can fucking deal with that for 10 turns. Is it Lena or Iena? It's a kind of weird name for a system. Oh yeah, the system wasn't originally called Hope. It had some name that was like stupid, and I figured just fitting in with the like kind of lore or story of the Riftborn. I don't know, just Hope sounded like a. It had some stupid fuck. I was like, I don't want my capital system to be whatever the fuck it said before that. And it's not like the word Hope is super unfitting, considering we got Ying and Veni and Yersh. That got Nis, like Aquarius, Ursa. You know, I don't know. If there can be an Elma system, there can be a fucking Hope system. It can be my capital. So actually, the question is, it's like, which systems do I want to take versus which systems do I want to just burn the fuck out of? That's got 5 planets on it, so that's a good system to actually grab. I'm gonna merge you. I had this guy just on a scouting thing where he had a bunch of, not phantoms, he had a bunch of just the scouting recon ships, but I've kind of explored most of the galaxy, so I don't really need that. So how about we'll just have him. He's got real good mobility though. He's got a lot of mobility stuff as a like fleet hero, so I might just send him around to fuck shit up. I'll send him down there. He can go down here and just start fucking things up for them. Yeah, look at that. Oh, Horatio's got some ships. No, he's not gonna have those ships. Or he'll probably retreat. It does not matter what tactic I use. These ships are yeah, he's retreating. As you should. That's one you should retreat on. Get the fuck out of here. That's civilian ships though. More money. Now this fleet does not have a crap ton of manpower, so I'm gonna let it sit here and just blockade him for a minute. And guess I got a second juggernaut I made. So you're gonna go out into the breach. Oopsie. Sorry about that. Felt a sneeze. Hope it doesn't spike the audio or anything. But yeah, like, you see, it's, yeah. I mean, here. Well, let's talk politics. So, I'm American. I live in America. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. I don't live there now. Right now, I live in San Francisco. But also planning to move away from San Francisco sometime in the following year because I want to buy a house, and no one can afford houses in the Bay Area. Fuck that shit. I don't like how expensive it is to live here. So, and want to be closer to some family that's more in the East Coast area. So that's lots of good reasons to move. And my job is remote, so I really don't lose anything for not working. The fun thing with the Riftborn is this building means you get like a flat industry boost the more defense guys you have. So it means that you can build that and then build a bunch of the defense, like improving structures. And rather than doing nothing, or just, you know, defensive structures don't do anything if you're not getting attacked. So I really actually like having this building because it means you can then build these and get an industry boost for each one you build. So they're actually contributing and it's stacking on top of all the other type of industry things you can be building. That's useful. Let's see, turn. But yeah, so that, this is a little background on me in life. But, so I'm coming at things. Most of my political stuff's going to be about America. I mean, there's a lot of just general human things too that you can definitely connect and tie these things. I mean, humans, you know, we got a lot of different countries on Earth, but it's Homo sapiens living in all of them. You know, we can recognize a lot of differences in humans because we're humans and we care about all those little minute things, but in a lot of ways we're pretty similar. Like, you know, psychology is not some radically different thing in France compared to the USA. Like certain psych ideas are they're gonna just apply to all humans. We're not all that crazy different. This is the bird people in the South, and they're so fucking behind that I don't know. I'll give them the background plan. It doesn't really matter what I force them to do. Oh, okay. And I finished.
We're playing our best hand here.
What are you doing? Okay, I guess we're just at war with. I'm
Desperate
sorry.
acts for desperate times.
I didn't
Do
declare
not
war
press
on
us
you.
too far.
I didn't declare war on you. Which one of my asshole allies did that? You got a pro. That's nice. There we go. And Auguste. So yeah, politics. I guess I'll just start with something basic. I know I'm really I haven't talked about too much yet. It's a rambly stream. I'm aware. But, so, broaching the subject though, it's like I want to start with something basic, where it's just, because it's something that it seems like people don't necessarily have it grasped too well, where it's like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? What do you think are problems? What do you think the solutions to those problems could or should be? How are you going to go about convincing other people to like be in agreement with that and get them on your side so that you have more numbers? I mean, or is your plan one where you don't need much numbers? I mean, you need somebody. You need some amount of other people to agree with you, because that's what politics is about. It's about humans, and it's about how we manage and organize and structure our society and the system we live under. So it's inherently, you gotta care and give a shit about other people. Or, you don't have to give a shit about other people, but boy howdy, in my experience, that doesn't really fucking work out too well. And not a great way to convince people if they can tell that you don't actually give a fuck about them. So for me, I've got a pretty just simple, basic, I think it'd be like a grounding axiom, which is just that I wanna improve human well-being. And yeah, that's a little vague, but you know, if people can, but it's also like, you know, not everyone agrees with that. Not everyone agrees that we should be trying to improve or increase human well-being. So it's like you gotta start wherever you're gonna start. You can't do a book review if you're talking to people who don't know how to read or don't know the language. Like you gotta, and you know, so it's a thing. If we want to improve human well-being, then shit, we're probably gonna want more. I at least think it follows that you'd want more people to agree with that or have that as like a goal or an undergirding kind of statement or framework that you check things about. You know, hey, is this thing I'm mad about something that is damaging to human well-being? Is this thing I want or I'm advocating for something that would increase human well-being? And there's all sorts of debate and arguments you can have within that, but it's like, you gotta pick that standard first, because I'll say it's one of those things that when it comes to philosophy terms, I'm not always the best with philosophy terminology. I mean, I don't have a fucking degree in that shit. I haven't read big philosophy books, but you know, you can read about a concept. I mean, certain philosophical concepts are pretty present in life. It's not always, you know, you can tell someone about the allegory of the cave, and it's like, yeah, all right, that, like, you get in some of it. That's something I think about education too, but that's a different topic. But I mean, you can give people summary stuff. But so something I think is, I think the position's usually called moral anti-realism, and it's basically the idea that there aren't objective moral values, and so that gets into there's all sorts of debates and arguments about that. But like I said, I guess we're gonna just try to start real broad and high level, because if we don't agree that increasing human well-being is the goal, then like what the fuck is the point of talking about tax rates? Like, should taxes be lower or higher? Like, well, why? Like, okay, if you make them higher, then you get more money. Okay. And then what do you do with that? Like, what's the point? Like, you know, just you gotta agree on what the fucking thing is. You know, should you put a faster engine in your car? Like, well, it depends. Are you a race car driver? And are you trying to win? Because, yeah, faster engine. Probably fucking helpful in your car there. Are you a regular person who's just commuting to work and to the store? Faster engine? Probably kind of bit of a fucking, how much is it going to cost? How much is it going to cost to install it? How long is my car going to be in the shop for? Like, nah, fuck it, that shit ain't worth it. Like, you gotta have a goal before you can evaluate or discuss what the tactics are towards that goal. So, my goal's a pretty simple one. I just want to improve human well-being. And there's all sorts of ways I can explain and expound upon that and make, you know, and propose the theory. And I just gotta read exactly what this does. So, more damage. So I think it's more damage on her ship, which is not bad. I mean, this one is literally just only that, but then also a bunch of extra fleet health. So that's, I mean, 25% extra fleet health is really fucking good. More fleet health means your ships don't die as fast in the fight, and if your ships are dead, they aren't shooting their guns. The whole you do 0 damage while dead phenomenon. So having more health, in a way, can lead to a damage increase. Now this boy's on my Bundus. He's my Bundus boy. So he's gonna... And he's mostly on Bundus because that's going to be a sciencey planet, and that's a 60% boost to science, which is fucking stupid. So I want that stupid shit. And like nothing else in the everything else in the Sophon tree is so much fleet stuff, but then they're like, oh, you can have a 60% boost to science too. Like, oh, okay. And with this one, normally the capacity bonus ties in with the sim camp improvement. So it's basically, that's giving me like 10 more industry, which is small, but at least it's like an actual just flat boost, so it's not bad to have. Taking a sip. So we're starting from human well-being, and I'm choosing that. This is the more anti-realism thing is. I don't think that's objective. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. I don't think there's a God. I don't expect there to be a God. There's no big grand authority figure watching over us. There's no one making sure that we follow the rules. When you die, you're dead. You can be a piece of shit asshole your entire fucking life and then die, and there is no cosmic karma. You're not going to get your just desserts in hell. If you're a peasant and you're working hard on the farms every day and your lord's a piece of shit, but you're solacing yourself that in the afterlife there will be justice, buddy, you've been had, because this life's the only one we get, and if you're getting fucked over in it, like, that's shit you need to fix, like, now. Kicking that can down into a so-called afterlife is, I mean, it sure is convenient for the people who are being shitty to you now that, yeah, they'll get punished later. It's bad now, but, like, when you're dead, things will be great for you. Like, oh, cool. I don't know. Doesn't seem like a great thing to fucking pin my hopes and dreams on. That when I'm dead, I'll be happy. The fuck kind of. That sounds like a scam. Doesn't that sound like a fucking scam? Like. If I'm selling a COVID cure and I blow your brains out, like, now you don't have COVID anymore, like, wow, mission failed successfully. That's fucking useless. But so hey, something I get there from no gods, no kings. It's just people. It's just a bunch of intelligent tool-using apes. I think there's good explanatory power there. There's a lot of stuff where people sometimes they come up with like frameworks or ways of thinking of the world that don't really accurately match reality, and then that causes all sorts of problems. Or it's like people create problems out of that because they're like they get mad about people not matching the framework they developed. And it's like, maybe your framework's wrong, and that's why you keep running into problems. Like, you could just see something like premarital sex and stuff, where all the, most of the major religions have a lot of rules about sex. And it's like, in the USA, we have issues with sex education being, like, really variable from, like, a state and county level, because that's the way our governmental systems are set up. And then you also have like private schools or home schools, and I've been to private and public schools, and like, I mean, a private school can be fucking great, but in the USA, some private schools are just like religious indoctrination centers. Similar thing with homeschooling. Like, I don't inherently have any problem with homeschooling, but you gotta also think that if someone's like a really extreme religious person who's trying to be really strong-armed and authoritarian about their religious views, it's like, yeah, public school is a pretty damaging environment to that. So then they homeschool their kids. So then you got kids who they grow up and get out into the world as adults, and they've just been fed religious nonsense their entire fucking life, and it's really non-functional. Or I was talking about the sex ed stuff, where it's like, if you're, and I'm not speaking for all religions here or anything, people, there's there's 5,000 different sects of Christianity, so there's some generalizations here, but I mean, we can look at the fucking effects. It's not a bunch of atheists who are trying to get abstinence-only education in schools and are getting like really pissed off about like free condoms being handed out. You know, that's not. Find me an atheist who's doing that, and I'll call them a fucking idiot because that's stupid. I think it's stupid. Yeah. But like I was saying though, with the non-religious, with the atheist perspective, where it's like, okay, you know, from the science, as far as we can tell, we're mammals, we're simians, where we've hit a pretty unique niche with the intelligence and the abstract thought and the tool use and crafting, and that's led to a lot of fun and interesting things. But just, you can look at a certain, if you have an awareness of what the actual biological shit is about, just like what is being an animal like, and it's like, hey, animals have hormones, animals have sex drives. Yeah, it's different between species, but the whole idea of like abstinence-only education, from what I know, from what I think we generally scientifically understand about biology and animals, and then also from all the evidence we've collected from just, you know, if you look at places that do that and places that don't, the outcomes seem worse. It's one of those things, if, you know, I have a metric of human well-being, and I'd say that, like, having children when you're, like, too young, having children before you wanted to is probably not good for the well-being, right? But you can just look and see evidence where places that do abstinence-only education have higher rates of teen pregnancy. And it's like, well, okay, do you want higher rates of teen pregnancy or not? And it's like, from the religiously motivated aspect, you can get into a whole thing where, so I'm talking about, you know, different frameworks. I'm on the human well-being framework. If you're on a religious framework, maybe it's more that we need to obey God's commands. We need to do the God thing. And the problem is that we're a bunch of fucking apes. So what some book that some other apes wrote it's not real. It doesn't work. It's just some bullshit some fucking stupid asshole came up with, and you're here thousands of years later like, actually, if you eat pork, you become dirty. It's like, no, you fucking don't. Shut the fuck up, you idiot. Or, I'm being harsh and mean there. I'm not talking to someone specifically. If I was actually talking to a religious person to discuss these things, I wouldn't call them a fucking retard. Even if in my heart of hearts, my true honest feeling is that being religious is kind of retarded. But I also recognize that that's not a great way to get along with people. People tend not to like it when you call them retarded. So, speaking generally, being stun locked on the hero screen, because I picked a turn-based game because I feel like I can at least kind of play this game while talking about shit. I don't know, we'll see how my ADD gets tested here. So far it's been fucking losing. Also, this is not going to be a super long stream or anything, because I'm just doing this bit randomly, and because in a little bit I have to stop for a work thing. Oh, but I am having fun. I'm going to do more of these. This is part 1 of 500. Okay, yeah, you're also weird. What the fuck hero am I even on? I don't remember. Okay, I'm on you. What do you got? That sounds great. That sounds great. Just have some more of that. But so, what the point I was making, it's like, you know, your stuff about your framework, stuff about what your base is, what's your understanding, what's the, you know, I guess by framework I kind of mean it's like, it's a little tricky to describe. I don't necessarily know what the precise, like, philosophical language would be, but it's like, yeah, I guess I'd say the framework, it's kind of think of like building scaffolding, or think of it as like the core, like the support beams of a building, you know, it's a stable part that is there so you can put the other things on it. you build things and add things onto the framework. So the framework is then probably obviously pretty important, since if your framework can't support things you want it to support, or if your framework has flaws in it, it's like that's the starting point. So it's like it's one of those things where just it tends to be like, if the, what's the best way to put this? Yeah, it's like, how are you going to get to the right answers if you're starting off already in the wrong place? You know, if you're already starting off on a bad foundation. Yeah, how are you going to build a great house on a dog shit foundation? Like, if that location is important, then it's like, well, you need to make the foundation good first. You know, maybe you can build a good foundation anywhere, but it's like, you're going to need the fucking foundation if you want the house. You can't just go for the house. Then you get the Monty Python joke about the 2 castles sinking into the fucking swamp because it's bad to build a castle in a swamp. 3rd castle, though, that one. Figured it out. Huge tracts of land. I just want to say, Monty Python. Chorus Pogi is level 19. This is a virtual carver, cyborg, whatever. She's running a city. It doesn't matter. I'm not taking that one, though, because that one will fuck my planets up because of carver shit. What do you have left? What do you have left that's good? I don't know. You're level 19. There's only... Your heroes tap out. But yeah, so framework. I mean, I have that issue with the religious frameworks, that if you're basing your... Or it ties into the first thing I was just saying, that it's like this stuff is to some degree subjective. Like, to some degree it's... you can choose. It's like, there are certain, there are physical facts about reality that don't care about your opinion, right? It's like gravity doesn't care what you think or feel about it. The phases of the moon are gonna happen whether you fucking like it or not. But with stuff like choosing your own foundational, your ethical, your philosophical, your social, your political, choosing what your kind of like foundations are, that is something you get to choose. Like, you can choose that. You can pick one and go with it, and you can advocate for it, and you can live off it. You can fuck up sometimes. You can learn and adapt as you go. No one's perfect. No one's done. No one has everything figured out. But you can sometimes, you can test shit out. I don't know. It's like a analogy. It's like a loadout in a shooter. Do you want to go with the shotgun or the rifle? And maybe there's 3 types of rifles. Which of the rifles do you want to go with? And you can pick one, and then you can see what the fuck happens. Maybe some people really like a thing, but you don't like it, and that's like a personal preference. But then maybe you can also recognize that like does work. If you're playing Call of Duty and you want to snipe, it's like, okay, shotgun's gonna be bad for sniping. But then you can also recognize that, like, shotguns, good for killing people at close range. If someone gets close on me when I'm sniping and they have a shotgun, like, I'm in trouble. And you can recognize that people are doing that shit and it's working to various degrees. When from 100 feet away you shoot the shotgun guy in the head with your sniper rifle, it's like, okay, yeah, the fucking sniper rifle worked out better for me there than the shotgun worked out for you. So, same thing with frameworks. Or just with this political stuff. This is, like, part of the thing where I'm like, fucking religious frameworks are, like, dog shit. They don't work. For a framework, it doesn't really work well. It's, like, super, super not well working. So, I was talking about human well-being. And with human well-being, now, like, there's still subjectivity there. It's a broad, high-level thing. We can define more things with it. We can really get into the weeds. What does human well-being mean? And I don't have all the answers for this. But I think as an ideal, I've found it's useful. It's productive. It's very universal. I guess one of my main views on it is it's like I'm a human. So if the things I promote and care about improve human well-being, then I as a human will benefit from that. And if the things I promote improve human well-being, and it's like let's say like reason I'm not a nationalist. I'm not talking about just approving well-being for humans who are American citizens. That can be nice too, but it's like I want human well-being, because something I think with that, aside from a lot of just general humanist and egalitarian standards, but it's like if something makes things better for all humans, if an idea or a notion or a way of doing things is an improvement for all humans, then where's the pushback going to come from? That's like that's some like shit you can really lock in. That's a good win. You've improved human well-being. You've invented fire, and now we can cook the meat, and now we can eat it easier, and it's tastier, and it's less likely to make us sick. Like you're only hurting yourself if you go for the raw meat. Fuck fire. I don't fuck around with that fire shit. No. That's magic. I don't want magic on my food. Eating, just directly chewing into the carcass of the deer we dropped stones on worked for my grandfather. Like, you can fucking do that, and it's not gonna fucking work out well for you. And I don't know. It's one of those general evolutionary things. It's like, oh, why does every animal seem to like have a need to reproduce? And it's like, well, what do you think happens to the animals that don't want to reproduce? Like, there's been life on this planet for hundreds of millions of years. Like, if there was a species of dinosaur that really didn't want to fuck, you know what happened to them? They didn't fuck, and then they died, and then no one gave a shit, and then other dinosaurs that did like fucking moved in. Like it, we all come from a 100 millions long. We come from several million. We come from millions of generations of animals that did fuck. Every one of us is the descendant of a chain of millions of different generations of animals that fucked and reproduced. Like, that shit's in there deep. Having some 2,000-year-old book that has rules and guidelines about when you should or shouldn't or how you should be going about it, it's like, maybe that could have good ideas, maybe that could have bad ideas, depending on what your framework is, but it's like, you gotta recognize that we're animals. For millions of years, our biology and our genes did not give a fuck about what the Bible said in regards to how we should be reproducing. So, yeah, framework. So human well-being. That's one that's, most, I think you can usually get people to say that like at least sounds like a good thing. Then you get into the subjectives about how you go about it. But I think that's like an important starting point, because if you can get someone to agree with that, hey, we want to improve human well-being. And this is where like the subjective, objective morality stuff doesn't, I think it's like, the reason I go for the subjective is because it's like, if I subjectively care about human well-being, then I can just fucking do that. Like, if it's like, oh, but it's not objectively grounded, it's like, okay, and then what? Nothing. I don't know. From what I've seen, the follow-up to that is then, but, like, can you objectively say you should improve human well-being? It's like, I don't know, probably not, I guess, since you're opposing to it, but, like, why should I care? Like, I don't know, subjectively, objectively, convince me why I should even care about that. Why does it matter? It's like, oh, my desire to make the world a better place is actually subjective? Like, continue? Like, what's the rest of the... it's like, if I'm not bothered by that, then what's the follow-up? What do you have next to go on top of that? Boy, I stopped playing a lot when I was talking, which is probably more interesting, since I'm sure my Endless Space 2 gameplay of a game I'm several hours into already is not the most interesting and compelling shit in the... Who the fuck is here for me to meet an attack? Oh, you're pirates. Okay. In alliance with... Yeah, let me think. We're gonna fucking... Okay, they fought me for some reason. I guess they maybe didn't have anywhere to retreat to. So this is... Okay, right, I remember. I just sent this fleet out to just fuck this place up. And they don't know I'm defending them, so let's do a preemptive bombing. And we're just gonna burn this motherfucker down. Burn it down. Because I assume pillaging it is not gonna get me shit. So we're gonna raise it. And we're gonna move on to the next one. Come up. So, again, I guess back to the high level stuff. It's like caring about, or just establishing a framework, and then actually evaluating things against it. It's like, I guess, something I want to contrast it with. This is just what pops up in my head, and maybe this is like, this will be like more illustrating to hear about. I mean, I don't know, maybe it'll be less. But it's like, it's something where frameworks lead to, like, I guess I put it, it's like if your framework is off, if there's issues with your framework, you can end up like supporting or advocating or choosing or doing things that are actually like detrimental to yourself. And you might not realize it, or like you might. I guess that shouldn't be too questionable. Like people, it's possible to deceive people, and it's possible to be wrong or mistaken about stuff. So, if your framework's malformed in some way, you can end up supporting policies. If we're talking about politics, policy is one of the main things there. You can be led to support and advocate for a policy that's not going to really fix the problem you care about, or it's not really going to actually like promote or further the things you do care about. So, let's contrast with, say, let me move this fucking ship. Let me move my fucking scout fleet. There's something to look at there, so let's... Okay, they didn't quite hit it, but you don't need... You use up movement points when you scan a curiosity, but you can also just do it. Oh, fuck yes. I actually really fucking need these things, because I'm using them for my level 4 system development, and there are so few of them, so... Oh my god. I'm so fucking happy I just found those. I really fucking need those, and I don't have enough of them anywhere. What's the pop doing on this place? Okay. No. I'm gonna edit out for a minute, because I have to go to the bathroom. I'm back. I'm gonna have to end this soon, because I gotta do a thing in like 15-ish minutes. Oh, but this is definitely part 1 of many, though. I'm gonna do more of these. This is, at minimum, I enjoy doing this, because I enjoy talking to someone besides my fiance about all the fucking shit I end up thinking about and reading about on the internet all the time for years. Let's fuck that shit up. Well, yeah. Have XP points. Very nice. I don't know why this motherfucker would colonize that. It doesn't matter too much, but I'll just go to war. Okay. Look at this Carver. Carvers ain't doing shit. I mean, I already fucked them up. They offered me a truce. Alright, the Carvers offered me a truce because I fucked them up. Because I'm winning at a video game. You fucking AI. Fuck you. Spectre? Yeah, fuck it. We should just go over here. Why not? So back onto the high level stuff. Think about what your framework is. Think about, and I think distilling it down to just like kind of a single point or like a single sentence is useful. You're gonna, immediately you want to build and expand upon from that point. But if you distill it down to just a single thing, it's like useful because you can check stuff against that, or it's like you can, it gives you a priority. It's like it's a top priority. So let's pick an example. Let's say something like, okay, running on my kind of girding axiom there of I want to increase human well-being. I want to just, for all humans, anywhere. The way I sometimes think of this is, I'm sure if you hear about when people talk about like jobs and careers, they talk about like floors and ceilings, the glass ceiling for like women in the workplace and stuff. Something I think of with politics is I like the idea of raising the floor. That's where like kind of my human well-being, something that translates to is I'm a lot more concerned about raising the floor than expanding the ceiling. And expanding the ceiling isn't bad. It's like, I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with that, and it's something you want to do at some point. But something I'm also really interested in is raising the floor. Like something I think is a problem right now is that we could even, talking about the whole world is really fucking complicated because there are like war-torn countries that are like underdeveloped and have had to deal with like civil wars and like colonial like profiteering and it's like, oh yeah, the actual, right, if we're looking at humanity, the floor of human well-being is like Indian kids rummaging through like junkyards for fucking scrap metal and living in like fucking tin shit and like, God, that's fucking awful. That's bad shit. That's heartbreaking. That shit's happening right now. Right now, there's some kid crawling around in literal fucking trash looking for something that they can sell for any amount of money so they don't starve to death. I really fucking hate that. That's an emotional component there. Just emotional, like, I just kind of fucking hate that shit. I'll fight a motherfucker if it makes that shit not happen anymore. Like, goddamn. So, I'll limit us a little bit to say just like America, where this is the country I live in. So, one of my ideas about how we could improve the human well-being, because I say human well-being because, like I was saying, this is like an everyone thing. This is everyone. So we can't just build a nice community center in one town. Like, that'll improve human well-being in that town. And that could be for that town to figure out. That could be a great idea. On that level, doing some local development that improves the well-being within the town. That's very appropriate and fitting. Thinking a little more broadly, it's like, okay, I want to improve human well-being. So that'd be more like, what are all the places that would benefit from a community center, and how can we get all of those places their community center built? That's the more gotta like kind of universalize and generalize it out to the whole population we're dealing with. So I think about raising that floor, and I think I could literally talk about just this concept for hours. So I'm just gonna hit some quick bullet points because I gotta stop and do some work in a minute. But I think about raising the floor, and it's something I've picked up from history, from just knowing stuff about history, I highly recommend watching documentaries. It's just interesting to learn about shit from past societies, because that shit's real. I think, like, this game is really cool, and every faction's, like, pretty unique, and they've got very different, like, vibes and mindsets, and just, like, intellectually, that's, like, really interesting. Like, with the Carvers.
What do you sound like when you scream?
It's like, damn, some crazy motherfuckers. But it's like, the lore is that they were literally made as like a bioweapon species by the Endless, which were the previous like dominant force in this galaxy thousands of years ago. And their gameplay style is literally like all-consuming horde. That was the thing with the depletion points, where, and I like how that ties together. That it's like they were designed as a like military bioweapon thing, like they were meant to be unleashed, and that they would just murder, kill, pillage their way through the hostile lands with like the Endless like holding the leash to, they're meant to be like a fucking attack dog species. So the fact that they're very like a real just like cut and burn and loot and pillage, and they don't give a fuck about sustainability, fits into that. And it has interesting implications in the gameplay, where their thing is that they deplete planets they're on, and when the planet's not depleted, they actually get like way more resources out of it than a normal faction. They get like a huge boost to all the stuff on a non-depleted planet. But then once the planet's depleted, it's a reduction. The planet becomes worse than it normally would be. So the Carvers, tied into their lore based on their mechanics, they like literally have to expand. Because at this point, like we saw with the system I captured here, these systems are all depleted. So they're all operating at half output. You can see it there, minus 50%. So if the Carvers don't expand, and they don't get more systems and territory for themselves, they will actually eventually like fall behind really hard. Because right now, just comparatively, like their systems are actually like these systems back here, if they're depleted, I'm not them so I can't see, like their shit's gonna be worse than anyone else's. So they have to go out and fight. And that's like an interesting thing tied into their lore. I'm fucking, oh man, ADD, man. I got ADHD, and I take a fucking pill for it. And man, you don't want to see me when I'm not taking the fucking medication for it. So quickie thing to wrap this up here. But it's like I was kind of trying to say that just with all this interesting stuff with these different factions, this is a game made by humans on Earth. All the ideas about all these different factions come from humans. And so in some way, you can connect every value and mindset here to a human. Some of them might be more popular general mindsets than others. The Lumeris really like money and trade. That's not a rare thing among humans on Earth, money and trade. The Sophons really like science and technology. That's also a fairly popular one. There's name me a civilization that never tried to develop or invent new shit. Like, new shit. Inventing new shit is useful. People like that shit. Carvers are real slash burn pillaging. There's a strong thread in human history for just killing and taking shit from people. They are a very historically present faction. But all this different stuff came from humans. All these different ideas reflect different aspects of humanity, and they all literally came from the minds of the developers. And you can find these thoughts and ideas, in any person. People have different leans, but it's like you can get any of this. And then so for us back on Earth, it's like, okay, so it's the thing I was saying about like what's your main framework? What do you want to do? What do you think works best? I could say that given that we're currently limited to just planet Earth, the Carver methodology of extract as much as you can, as quick as you can, fuck the long term, You know, as one of those people who's having to live through the long term, not a fan. Not a fan. Don't like this shit. I would prefer if the sea levels didn't rise because of burning coal. Like, maybe we could not fuck ourselves with that. Maybe we could, like, not do that to ourselves, you know? There's a lesson. There's something that can be learned there. And history's good for that, because you can learn about and see other cultures and civilizations, and for real, you know, we have all these fictional examples here, but then history is awesome because you get to see what just actual real-life people were really living like and dealing with, and what they thought about and cared about. You know, you had Romans who were sacrificing goats on the altar so that the ocean man isn't angry at them, because as we all know, there's a guy, and that guy's like the ocean, and you don't want the ocean guy to be angry because then the ocean's mad, and then like we can't fish good, so we gotta make sure the ocean guy's happy. So let's give him a goat, because we could eat this goat ourselves, but instead we're gonna slit its throat on an altar and give it to Poseidon and be like, this is your goat, man. And obviously that shit doesn't remotely fucking work, but people were just, you know, the ocean's angry sometimes and no one knows the fuck why. Maybe it's because the ocean man is angry. Maybe, is there anything we could do to make the ocean man happy? Because I would like to go fish, and I can't fish when the ocean man is angry at us. Are two men having sex? Are two men having sex? God damn it, no wonder the waves are so high. There's two men having sex with each other. No wonder we can't fucking fish now. Right? It's like, you gotta, you know, there are actual solutions in the world, and if you're on a bad framework, you're not gonna find those fucking solutions, and you may in fact just create further problems for yourself. It's like people who have anger issues, and, you know, defining anger issue as when your anger is causing a problem for you, but it's like, you know, people who get angry and then punch shit, you know, a lot of those people, if they have like an actual consistent thing of that, those people then have issues of like, yeah, so for a while one of my fingers was fractured because I got mad about a thing, and then I punched a wall, and then I got to have a broken finger for a month because I punched a wall because I was angry. It's like, so what the fuck did that accomplish? It's not, you know, maybe you were right to be angry. Maybe someone did some real bad shit to you. But punching the wall, you know, did having a broken finger for a month feel good? Did punching the wall itself even feel good? Or did it, like, really fucking hurt your hand? And maybe distracting yourself from that emotional pain of the moment, you know, there's a benefit to that, but, like, you know, there's a cost to punching the fucking wall. Part 1 of 47. This is the new philosophy. This is the new ideology. Everyone's going to do this. We're all going to wear gray jumpsuits. Everyone will own cats. No one will own dogs. And I have to stop here. But this was fun. If you watched all of this, that's cool. Thank you. Leave a comment and tell me what you think. I actually would care. I would actually care about that. Till next time.